Kyle here for Vortex Optics. I'm going to show you the first thing I do when I pick up a brand new low power barrel. The first thing that I do with any LPVO that I get is I put a throw lever on here, like this one from Vortex, and I do this so that I can feel and know where my magnification setting is without looking. The Vortex throw lever comes with an Allen key that is the same Allen key that fits the turrets, so that's kind of cool. More on that later. If I look at the scope itself, common sense would say that position 3 or power setting 3 is in the middle of the throw because this is a 1 to 6. But actually, if you'll put your finger on the max setting and put another finger on the minimum setting, you'll see that my fingers are not symmetrical. This finger over here is way below. So in all actuality, the middle of the throw on this particular scope is probably about 2.5. So that's where I'm actually going to put the throw lever. 12 o'clock is 2.5, 3 o'clock, 6x, 9 o'clock, 1x. Optics today on the range, telling you the second thing I do when I get a scope, and that's set ocular adjustment. You'll notice here I have a witness mark, so if this thing gets twisted, I'll know how to line it back up for my particular eye. Most ocular adjustments on any scopes, not just Vortex, will have a plus and minus back here. What you're essentially doing with the ocular adjustment is you're setting it for your eye because all human eyes are a little bit different. Now, the thing to do with this, you do not have to have the scope mounted on a rifle. I do in this case, but it's not necessary. You want to be on max power and you want to be looking at something light colored. Out here today in Texas, I could use the sky up here, a white cloud or whatever. You can use a white wall, doesn't really matter. The key here is to have this thing turned all the way one side or the other, get down behind it, look at it. If the reticle is not in perfect focus, come out a couple of turns. Look at it again. Don't stay behind it too long because the human eye will adjust to a screwed up reticle. So you want to make sure you only give yourself about a second. Optics talking about the third thing I do in LPVOs, and that's setting IRA Lief. First thing, if you're using a QD mount or rings, keep in mind that you will have to move the scope inside the rings to get proper IRA Lief. You might also have to move the rings on the rail, or in this case, the QD on the rail, or a combo of both to get the proper IRA Lief. Once you do that, always paint mark the rail section on an AR where the stud goes, and keep in mind that on some QD mounts, if you have overlap from the receiver to the rail system, so if it looks something like that, it really doesn't matter as long as the stud from the QD mount is in the rail section on the receiver, you're good to go. In my experience, the best IRA Lief with an LPVO is in prone position on max power. You should have to crane your head a little bit forward to make scope shadow go away, something like this. You have the time to do that in the prone, and that makes one power that much better for CQB shots. Talking about the fourth thing I do with my scope, and that is slipping turrets after zero. First off, the Allen key that comes with most Vortex scopes, I keep it stored in the pistol grip of my rifle, so I always have it with me. First thing I do, shoot, get my zero, whatever your yardage is for your zero that you want. In this particular case, this rifle from the factory, I ended up being on 2 mils to be perfectly zeroed. I remove the screw out of the top with the Allen head. Set it down. I'll usually put mine inside the cap so I don't lose anything. Come up here, pick this straight up, and I'm gonna roll it to 0 and line it up with the witness mark that's on the body of the scope. Push this down. I would reinsert the screw at this time and tighten it down. Then I would put the cap back on. And lastly, I would reshoot the gun at the same distance to ensure that the 0 is true after I slip turrets. That's it.